is good that you are here to record this picture of me in my palace garden at Addis Ababa. People who see this throughout the world will realize that even in the 20th century, with faith, courage, and a just cause, David will still beat Goliath.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim. Giving honor to the Almighty, giving honor to the Emperor, His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I, and his prophet, the Honorable Bob Marley. I give most thanks to the ones who guide my pen, the Bolantiku of the Anunnaki. All praises due. I am your brother, the Rastafari. Aital Ayman I. I address this letter of sorts to the so-called Rastafari movement in the spirit of the 54th book of King James Bible and the 9th. Let me tell you why. First, I will say that the 54th book depicts, or better yet, describes the current movement. I say so-called because in essence it's not a movement, but rather have become a stagnant pond of fundamentalism. We can see that the 54th book, the first 4 verses of 1 Timothy, will make my point here clear. This is a book that I believe was slipped in by the Bohemians, i.e., the so-called Holy Roman Empire. I believe it was did to cloud the future revelations that we will be getting during the 11/11 phenomena. Now, if we add 5 plus 4, as in 54th book, we get the number 9, which the 9th book of Bible is a spirit I conjure up here. Why 54th book, you might ask? I tell you that from the place called Tikal in Guatemala of the ancient Maya priesthood, the ancient Chilam Belam, it directs us. It tells us that poles will shift in 2012, 1221. And that before that the 9 lords or gods will come to earth again to rescue us, the chosen and elect. 5 men, 4 women. This is called the return of the Bolantiku. This is the same as Christians saying the return of Isis. But this is real. 2012 is a time, no doubt about it. So, in the spirit of 1 Timothy, I'm addressing you in the righteousness of right knowledge. We call it today Nuwabu, i.e., information, right information. That is, information placed in right order. This is a true Ethiopian spiritual science. The Rastafari movement this is the Ethiopian spiritual science. The Rastafari movement has been defined now largely bow now, largely defined by dead scholars of the University of West Indies, and profiteers who shroud as historians like Roger Steffens, author of Keeper and the Keeper of the Massive Reggae Archives and Works of the Prophet Bob Marley, Timothy White, author of the book Catch a Fire, The Life of Bob Marley, etc. These are great works, but this is not the Rastafari movement. As I give this discourse, certain images of different people cross my mind, like Sister Makita Blake, Ross Adams, Sister Imani Naja, and different people that are doing great works. But this is a definition of Rastafari and reggae from perspective of outsiders. Those Rastas that I mentioned, they are doing great works, but this is not totally the Rastafari movement. It has been defined by white people, and I wish to say, if there's some Jamaican out there calling himself Rasta, who say that I am not a Rasta and that I speak not for him, I agree with you on the point. I don't speak for you. I speak for the lineage of the Emperor Haile Selassie. I speak for the lineage of Haile Selassie I, direct descent of the gods, Anunnaki. I understand that many are called, few are the elect. Rastafari is an ancient priesthood, the oldest upon orbship Earth, which was set up by the builders of the pyramids. So I don't have time to argue with misguided and ignorant ones currently. We have a grave and very great matter to deal with now. This is why my work is important. 7 years here on YouTube and the internet, and over 30 years in the world. Internet has taken this message worldwide. I advise you study my work, that you know the reality of the myth Rastafari. Rastafari movement. Movement indicates progression. It indicates revolution, turn, progression, not stagnation. Many of you say Rastafari is love, man, and you take that to mean integration and the such. You know what I'm talking about. You know who I am very well. You know of my teachings. Let's face the facts. You say that in your father's house there are many mansions, but you limit it to 12 tribes of God, man, Bobo Ashanti, Nyahbinghi, etc. But the truth is, or it should be said, that in our Father's house there are many levels of consciousness. This is not a fundamentalist movement, mine Idrin. This is a movement of the Most-ites, one of wisdom from the foundation of earth, one of wisdom of the galactic heavens. The true Rastafari embrace all movements. Like the sun, moon, stars, and all the planets play their own part to the one whole. You can call it God, if you will. Whatever, it does not matter. The best name for it is Allah. You must not only read Bible, you must read Quran, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, the Rig Vedas, all of the holy scriptures. You must know and read and study them. You will find truth. A Rastafari is an enlightened being. Let us focus now on the myth of the Nyahbinghi, word, sound, power. Burn down Babylon, chant down Babylon, etc. the foundation vibration of the movement. Nothing about love there. It is about sound vibration that was given to us to be used at the correct time. We have had 81 years now, be 82 in 2012, to practice, learn, and get it right. Bob Marley set the foundation for this reality. Before one opens his mouth in ignorance, I say again, Bob Marley set the example as to what Nyahbinghi is about. He was influenced by the mythical vibration which came through the Nyahbinghi drumming via the symbolic Nyahbinghi orders of 9 Mile, Bull Bay, etc. I was in Bobo camp in the early 80s, so I know the vibe. I man been a yard reasoning and debating with priests them. Dread out our time. I've debated with the ancient Idrian up in the hills there. I've drunk water from the walls upon roadside in Moortown. Fire burns the mind. I've been to the ganja parties of Prophet God. I man know the business from the reality. I've sat with the Hopi elders, the Havasupai. I've communed with the East Indian sages, Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh, etc. I've had audiences with black spiritual men. I've communed with the sages of the world on many levels. I'm known, I'm unknown. I'm the Rastafari, I tall, Ayman I. Tell you, it's time for the Grand Nyahbinghi. At this time, we call it the Master Blaster Jamming. And you are now in tune. On the one, it's scientific. I ask Nyahbinghi, can you communicate with Nibiru with your drums? Can you cause the sun to stop in its journey across the sky with your drums? Can you raise the dead, heal the sick with your drums? Can you stop the poles from shifting with your drums? Can you bring about our safety with your drums, Nyahbinghi order? With my instructions you can. Like Moses parting the sea that the children of Israel go home. This is of the Exodus movement of Jah people. But our true home is not this earth. This is the reality of the Rastafari movement, the reality of the myth. The true Rastafari possesses the secrets of the herb and the music, i.e. Did not the story of Queen Nyahbinghi come to us saying that she ruled the Congo with her drums? You are now in tune, I tell you, on the one, the force itself. At this time we call it the Master Blaster Jamming, and we must rally around this vibration that we be safe in the current, the already now polar ice shift. Rally around. I am your brother, the Rastafari, I tall, Ayman I.